We are here in Buckeye showroom with Jay Poole, Buckeye employee and water ski wakeboard Ontario instructor and coach, recently named Canada's Coach of the Year. Jay is going to go through with us some information on towing and specifically how to properly attach your rope to the boat.
Hi, I'm Jay Poole, head instructor at the Wake Institute and also delivery captain here at the marina. I just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk to you about probably one of the most important but most neglected pieces of water sports equipment, and that is your rope. So I want to talk to you a little bit about rope maintenance and how to hook it onto the boat properly. It sounds like a really simple, easy thing, but you wouldn't believe how many people I see hooking their ropes up to the boat improperly. So I've got a couple of examples for you here today of different types of rope. Wakeboard ropes typically are a lot different than your typical water ski rope or tube rope. And because of that, I always recommend that you use a different rope for wakeboarding than you do for water skiing or tubing. Wakeboard ropes, the most important difference in wakeboard ropes is that they don't stretch where your water ski rope or your tube rope does. At the Wake Institute, this is our main line here that we use. It is a liquid force rope. It's made out of a material called Dyneema. We also have another rope that's made out of another material called Spectra. Both are plastic composites that don't degrade in the sun, they don't stretch, and they're both incredibly strong. My recommendation to people is normally you spend a little bit more on your wakeboard rope than you would on your water ski rope, but it will last, if taken care of, it'll last a lot longer. One of the most important things is before you use your rope, you want to inspect it. This is our good rope, so you can see there's no knots in it. It's coiled nicely and clean. There's no tears. All the loops and the knots are all good. Just to give you an example of some of the stuff you were looking for, this is one of our retired ropes from the Wake Institute, and you can see there's some fraying, knots, and even loops that are nearly torn through. So anything like that, you would want to discard the rope and retire it. So those are the kind of things that you're looking for not to use on the rope. Okay, let me stop that. So now I'm going to go through using this short rope that I made up, how to properly put your rope onto the pylon or onto the tower. Just to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to use the pylon down low, but you can imagine that this is the pylon up here, and use the same concept applies. The really important thing that you do when you put a rope on is you want to make sure that as tension's applied to it, that it gets tighter. The correct way to put a rope onto a wakeboard tower is you take the loop, you reach your hand through it, grab onto the main line or the rider side, and you make a loop. So that loop now comes on and it comes tight. It's very easy to do when you're on the very end of the rope, but as we all know, a lot of times we sort of start somewhere in the middle. So that's the gist of it. I'm going to do it again just to reach through the hole, grab the main line, create a loop, and then make sure that loop pulls tight. So that concept's really easy when you're using the very end of the line. I've kind of purposefully used two different types of rope to show you what happens when you're hooking it up on a shorter section. So this is the section, the black one. Our main line is pink, which has got the handle attached to the end. When you're hooking on from a section, it's important that you're working only with the loop on the main line. Too often I see people grabbing through the extension and onto the main line and using that. And as you can see, if I pull it, it does work. But this isn't as strong. What it does is it will pull away from all the stitching. So what I want you to see you do is grab the loop at the end of the main line, grab the main line, and pull it on tight. The other important thing is, once your rope is on, I want to see you pull on the main line and make sure that it gets tighter and not more loose. If you were to grab and do it the opposite way, grab against the main line and loop only this section, and then when you pull it, it loosens off. And that's where you get into trouble. I see this all the time, so make sure you grab main line, through the main line loop, to the main line, and you wrap that around the pylon and pull it tight. And that's how you hook onto a pylon.
Go.
So that's all in well if you have a Mastercraft that's set up for towing. But for instance, this chaparral, it doesn't have a pylon like we see on the Mastercraft. It has a ski eye. So I have a lot of people who question how you put on a ski eye. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that, which, although there's line tension, that isn't a safe and proper way to put on to a ski pylon, to a ski eye. The way that you do it is you take the handle and you create a loop through your handle. So you may have to create that loop, you twist the rope in half and then fold it over, and then you put all of those loops over. And what that does is it makes it tighten up on the hook of the ski eye. I'm going to do that again for you, just so you can see. Fold it in half and then flip it over, and that small hole that you've created goes over and tightens up. And what that ensures is, as the line bounces or if it pops, it's not going to come loose, it's not going to come off. And that's how you put onto a ski eye. So in summary, you want to make sure your ropes are in good shape. There's no frays or tears in them. All the loops are good. It's also good to inspect your pylon that you're putting it onto. Make sure it's on there and it's firm. And above all else, get out there and have fun. And if you're getting too tired of the winter blahs, a good way to get out and have fun and go wakeboarding is to come to Discover Water Sports at the Toronto Boat Show, where you can ride behind indoors behind a System 2. The only place in Canada you can do it.